Hello, everyone. Welcome to this event. This is Accra .NET and Agile User Group, and today we are going to talk about very interesting topic. .NET 9 was released last year, November, and there was a lot of updates in there that as a .NET enthusiast or as a .NET developer, you need to know. So welcome, and thank you guys for joining, wherever you are watching us from. Today we are going to talk about what is the importance, right? What is the new important section of the .NET update that was made November, that was last year, 2024. So our user group is based in Ghana here, Africa, and then we say thank you for joining us. So basically, this is part of .NET Foundation. So we are also going to talk about the foundations more. And then we have our guest speaker joining us, who is also going to speak to us. So thank you for joining us. You can drop your comment if you have any question, and then we will attend to them when the time is due. So thank you for joining. So what we are going to do is that basically we talk about .NET Foundation. So if you are watching us and then you are not part of .NET Foundation, you can search and then become a member of .NET Foundation so that we can all, advocate for .NET and do, we let people know what we have in .NET and the tools around .NET that we can do. So this is our user group called Accra .NET and Agile User Group, and then you can join us in Meetup. So we mostly handle events every month, and then we talk about .NET and Agile. So if you are interested in learning more about .NET and Agile, you can also join our user group. And this event that we are doing is also part of the .NET virtual user group. So that one you can also search and then join the .NET virtual user group. So I'm going to add our speaker on. So our guest speaker for today is ready, and then we are going to talk about .NET and what you should know as a .NET developer or as a .NET enthusiast. So I have my speaker here. Our guest speaker today is coming from Germany. His name is Jürgen Gutsch. Gutsch, right? I hope I get it right. So thank you for joining us here. We are happy to have you today here. And then I think this event is going to be very exciting. People are going to learn a lot. So we want to keep this event more kind of interactive. So if you have a question, if you have anything that you can drop that one in the comment section, and then we will we will read that one and answer your question for you. So I think at this point you can go ahead and then start telling us more about .NET. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Isaiah. Good morning, Accra. Good morning, Ghana. Good morning from wherever you're watching us. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me. Yeah, we'll start with a quick introduction about me. My name is Jürgen Gutsch. I'm a software engineer mainly in Basel at UAG, but also responsible for application security and QA. So watching that all is running well and is secure. So I'm pretty much addicted to .NET. So I myself call me a web developer with the .NET base. So I'm doing this for every time I'm thinking about how long it is, I feel old. So I started with .NET in 2001, in fall 2001. We would tell my boss to try it out and played around with it, and I was super impressed with the first versions of .NET. And yeah, it got better over time, better and better. It's so much fun working with .NET, with C#. Actually, I started with VB.NET but when changed to C#, I was a lot happier about it. Anyway, also contributing to the community, so I am hosting my own user group in Basel. I did this in Konstanz-Kreuzlingen before. Also blogging around, authoring, doing talks in user groups like here, or in my own, or in different others. Because of these contributions, I got an MVP 10 years before, and I'm still an MVP and happy about it. Yeah, as said, I'm blogging. This is my blog URL. Also wrote a book. It's like an ASP.NET cookbook to how to customize it, customize sections or specific sections of ASP.NET. And if you want to contact me, yeah, try it on LinkedIn or in Blue Sky. So I will shut down my Twitter account soon for some reason. So you will find me on Blue Sky. Yeah, this was me, I think, 4 years ago. We'll take a new picture. Anyway, so today, this morning, is about what's new and important in .NET 9 and C# 13. It's mainly my point of view, so my impression, what is important, and I picked some of these many topics, what I think is important to know. So it might be the case that some of you have maybe another point of view, and maybe see some other parts as more important depending on what you're working with. So if you're a mobile developer, I think I don't have that much news for you because I'm not really focused on mobile development in my daily business. So with gaming, I'm not yet really deep into AI, so maybe you will miss some points here as well. But yeah, we will see. So I have a huge document, collected a lot of topics, also added links to it, and I will share this document with Isaiah later on. So I will share it with you. And you have kind of a reference about the topics I'm talking this morning. As said by Isaiah, I like interactive sessions. So if you have a question, please drop it into the chat, and Isaiah will forward the question directly to me. So I want to tell you stuff you want to know and don't just want to read the document down. And yeah, you need to have the feeling that it was a valuable session for you. So hopefully it can answer all your questions. So please just post your questions in the chat, and I try to answer directly. Also, we will have a kind of a Q&A session afterwards. You also can drop your questions. Okay, so when announcing .NET 9, this was the official picture of the .NET ecosystem. So building anything with a unified platform. And it's like this. It's a little bit more inside than just this. Yeah, but it's sure you can do cloud on web and desktop and mobile, gaming, IoT. That was the case before. And now we have this AI thing. Yeah, since ChatGPT was a thing in the world, so there were a lot of AI improvements in .NET as well. Unfortunately, I'm not that deep into AI set, so maybe you will miss some important points here. So if you're interested, just follow the links I put in. Tooling, the same as before. GitHub Copilot improved a lot, which is cool. But yeah, you have a lot of tools that you can use to build apps with .NET. Also platform independence, that is nice, which is not new to .NET 9, but it's still a thing, and I like it. I like to run the things I build on Linux and Linux containers and Windows containers and so on, almost everywhere. I don't own a Mac actually, so I never tried it. Also, ecosystem is growing. As you can see, a new thing here is .NET Aspire. It was launched, I think, at the build last year and improved a lot. And it's still improving if you're following the open source repository of .NET Aspire. There are a lot of things going on. It gets better and better. We have also some news here. And there's a lot more components, tools, library, vendors, and so on. So that are the topics I will tackle. Here we have a link to the documentation, the official documentation about what's new in .NET 9. If you want to see some more stuff, so I will talk about performance, .NET Runtime, libraries, .NET SDK a little bit. AI building blocks, not that much, I think. Aspire, ASP.NET Core, new things. I will not talk about .NET MAUI, unfortunately. As said, I'm not a mobile developer and never created or built a mobile app with .NET. Just never had the chance to do it, so I don't really know anything about .NET MAUI. Only the things I saw in sessions. We recently had a talk in our user group about .NET MAUI, but I'm not an expert. Done some stuff about EF Core, C# 13, and some small notes about Windows Presentation Foundation and Windows Fonts. All right. Oh, I just saw a message in the chat. Hello to Cameron. Unfortunately, I'm not able to pronounce your name. Nice to see you here. All right. First thing is performance. And actually, they did a lot when it came to performance. And when watching the .NET Confs, the years before last year's .NET Confs, every time they're announcing that they improved the performance, they have less features to announce. So when it comes to an announcement of a new .NET, and they push performance pretty high in the priority of the presentations, then there were less actual features. It was the case from .NET 5 to .NET 6 and .NET 6 to .NET 7. There were some new features. It focused a lot on performance. This time, they also focused on performance, but there were some more features involved. So let's have a look. So we have an improvement, a little or small improvement than the last year, maybe 50% of the requests per second, but a lot more improvement in the memory consumption, which is nice. So they pretty much reduced their memory consumption. Also, not a performance expert, but the numbers were cool. And just this week, beginning this week, I upgraded a .NET 8 application to .NET 9 and was pretty impressed. So unfortunately, I haven't done any performance measurements, but it feels a lot faster locally in debugging mode. Also, when I pushed the application to Azure, it feels a lot faster, unexpectedly faster. It was really, really cool. I didn't change any code. I just updated to .NET 9, updated all the references, and it was faster. That was impressive. If you want more details about it, here's a blog post, a deep dive into performance. As far as I understood the sessions in the .NET Conf, it was mostly about the case that span of T is everywhere now in .NET, which optimize memory consumption a lot. I didn't test it. I need to do some more measurements also in direction of EF Core when it comes to database access. But I think the application code is a lot faster. But we'll do some more measurements in the next weeks. Maybe writing about this. So as said, performance improvements are impressive. It feels a lot faster, even in debug mode locally. Then, so I don't want to go deep dive into performance. That's why I added the link here. So a little bit about the runtime stuff that got added. We have attribute model for feature switches with trimming support. So you can now add just feature switches to the application like this. And configuring it here in your CS proj, and it will also trimmed during building. So if you're doing AOT compilation, you get a lot of trimming, so all the stuff you don't need will be moved out of your application code. The application will be faster and smaller. Unsafe access attribute now supports generic parameters, which is nice. I don't have a sample here, I think. Yeah, garbage collection improvements, control flow and enforcement technology, a lot of small stuff. Net installer search behavior, yeah, a lot of performance improvements on the runtime side. That one. We have loop optimizations, inline improvements. Actually, I wrote this a couple of weeks ago. PGO improvements, type checks and casts. Yeah, it's about that. It's a lot faster. ARM64 vectorization and .NET libraries. Yeah, ARM64 improvements, faster exceptions. This is nice. If you're or doing a lot of exception handling by yourself, or yeah, that got a lot faster now. Code layouting. I think I don't go into this. Yeah, AVX 10v1 support, hardware interested code generation, and so on. So a lot of small stuff. The thing that is nice is the code optimization on the EL side. So there's some optimization with code that can be inlined or just shortened a little bit. So when compiling it, so if I have a code like this, a static bool test function that calls another function of t, it's that one, and that has a yeah, just a check type of t equals type of int. So in case t is a string, it will inline it. So this method will be inlined into that test method. You see this? So you have a type of string equals type of int, and that one as well can be inlined into just that one. So your code, your initial code, and if it's only called with t as a string, so like this, will just be inlined like this. So as you maybe know that you can improve your performance in C# a lot if you reduce the calls to functions. It's pretty small improvements. If you reduce nesting or function calls, or if you reduce object structures, going from objects to structs, for example, as well. So reducing overhead in your code, that makes your code a lot faster. Maybe ugly. So depending on what you're developing and what you're focusing on, you're really focusing on performance. If you need a high performance application, then reduce this kind of overhead. Now C# or the runtime will do a lot for you, as you see here, but maybe you can do a little bit more about this. So if you're focusing on, yeah, just usual business application or something like this, then it's yeah, just fine to focus on clean and maintainable code instead of reducing these kinds of overhead. Don't want to go that deep. You see, maybe the scroll bar here, there's a lot more. Just go through. It's not really a deep dive today. So I will propose to Isaiah maybe to do a talk about a topic, one of my favorite topics. Come to that later. Maybe we can do a separate deep dive talk about specific topics. So also have new things in .NET libraries in .NET 9. For example, base64 URL. We'll talk about this here. Base64 URL is nice. Binary formatter got removed in .NET 9 for security reasons. So this is maybe a breaking change. As far as I understood the session in the .NET Conf, the API is still there, but the implementation is gone for security reasons. But collection optimizations and so forth, and that's just a list. The things that are new, and I think I would go through them. Yes, I do. So we have this base64 URL. Maybe you know this base64 string where you can put your binary or byte array into a base64 string. And now we have this base64 URL class that replaces the specific characters with URL compatible characters. That is useful if you want to pass a base64 string via the URL to a specific target. So because base64 string, yeah, just contains maybe slashes, equal signs, and so on, and that are got integrated into the URL, so that need to be escaped. In that case, replaced with other characters. So with that, binary formatter was removed for security reasons. There's a migration guide you can follow. They're using binary formatters. But it makes sense to use the regular ones. For JSON, for example. Some cryptography news. Just mentioning it. I'm not a cryptography expert. What's also interesting, date and time, new time span from overload functions, which are nice. So it's more or less like this. So we don't have syntax editing. So just adding it. Okay, we have time span from seconds. I can just add a floating number to this, seconds. Or like this, you can add seconds and milliseconds separately. That's quite cool and helpful when it comes to parts of seconds. So you need to, or if you have a number like this, so seconds and milliseconds. What else? We have in link queue, new count by and aggregate by, which is super helpful. For example, if you have a text like this, split it by blanks and dots and commas, and you can now count by a specific word, for example, aggregate by. Use aggregate by, yes, like this. This one has just a simple list, list of tuples. I can use aggregate by to have a key selector and do the aggregation here. Also, you can now access the index if you're iterating through a list. For example, like this, read all lines. You can also get the here the index. Sorry, the index of that line in your for each loop, and access it and write it down. Oh, something happened with the headset. Can you still hear me? Hopefully, yeah. Okay, serialization, system text.json, new options for indentation. Default web options, singletons, JSON schema exporter, which is cool. Yeah, respect nullable annotation. So it's all new stuff that comes through system text.json. Also, it's new on threading. You can just call task when each and operate on the results as they complete. So you can have different tasks here. And doing a wait for each, and iterating through all the tasks, or do something when the tasks are done, or when the result is there. So looping through all the tasks that we need to do something. So, all right. Also, just want to ask you about your questions if you have some. No question reached out to me yet, so feel free to ask. Otherwise, I will go on. So let's go to SDK. Those are the new stuff that came from the SDK, unit testing improvements, .NET Tool, roll forward, terminal logger, and so on. What I really like is that point NuGet security audits. So this is improved. You already got messages about vulnerable packages in .NET 8 or with the .NET 8 SDK. In .NET 9, you also get notification, vulnerability notification messages in transitive package references. So in packages that are not referenced directly, but referenced by the packages that you reference. This is super helpful because often you take the latest package and yeah, just to ensure that you don't have any vulnerabilities in your application, but you don't have a control about the dependencies of your dependency. The one said. So I just had these recently. I said I updated an application to .NET 9. Also updated all the packages to get rid of the vulnerabilities that got listed. And the NuGet Package Explorer now also shows you the transitive packages. So it's not only an optimization on the NuGet CLI on the SDK directly, but also on the NuGet Package Explorer. You see the vulnerabilities in transitive packages now. And there is a way to also pin the latest version to the transitive package references. So if you create, I think it's called directory package or directory reference. Oops, let me quickly check. I cannot show you the application of the custom actually. I think it's not allowed, but when I go to the back end, so yeah, directory packages props. What's it called? I can just create one. We open it in a notepad without showing you the customer. So okay, so it's like this. It's a directory packages props. which lives in the same folder as your solution. And as soon you added this directory packages props file, it gets used by your by the NuGet Explorer or the SDK. So what you're doing here is to add the versions of the packages you reference in your project. So those are all the packages I'm using. Also with the versions I'm using. All those packages are direct references in the projects of that solution, except these. So these are transitive or transitively referenced in the project. But this one, or the package I'm using, is calling version 4 point something. And I needed to update this one because the older version had a vulnerability. So, and to update transitive package, you could just add it here. And you need to add that one, central package transitive pinning enabled equals true. That means you pin the version of the transitive package to a specific one. And this way you can also update update the transitive package versions to not have vulnerable packages in your project, which is cool. So, and your projects don't need to have the version numbers anymore if you're doing it like this. So with this file, you also ensure that all projects have the same version of the packages. So really like this. Faster NuGet dependency resolution for large projects. It's cool. MS build analysis and so on. Their workload history. Support, I think, better code analysis. Yeah. All your stuff, I can't go into detail, unfortunately. So, and now I came to my favorite topic. It would make sense to have this favorite topic at the end, but yeah. Anyway, so it was one of the hot topics at the .NET also on the last build conference. We have the .NET Aspire. It helps you to build and deploy and work on they say cloud native application. It's not only about cloud native, it's also about distributed application. So that helps you build and orchestrate locally. You don't need to connect to cloud. You don't need to simulate dependencies like Redis cache, stuff like this. You don't need to run tools that help you to simulate cloud services and so on. You can just run them all locally, even in containers or wherever. So that's quite cool. I can show you a little bit about this. So this is Aspire in general. And here we have some new things. For example, Azure Functions are now supported. Until then, I think it's just a still preview support. Yeah, it will be supported officially. Before that, it was only support for Azure Container Apps. What else? Security was improved. Wait for resource is a cool thing. You can start up a specific app when the dependent resource is available. So your application can wait for other resources. The Azure dashboard, you can now start and stop resources. We have improved Azure configuration. Yeah, support for .NET 8 and .NET 9, both supported in Aspire 9. What else? Persistent containers. It's cool. There's an OpenAI integration. Don't have details about that. So also AWS integrations. Not sure if this is done by Microsoft or third party or community. So Visual Studio and C# DevKit enhancements, and they promoted is that the .NET Conf, the .NET Aspire community toolkit that contributes a lot more integrations into .NET Aspire. So it should be a huge library of integrations right now that you can use with Aspire. I think this is the best one, support for Azure Functions. Hopefully, maybe later support for web services as well. That would be nice. I would really love to see this. It's not yet there. So support for Azure Function is good, and it goes into the right direction. Also, tooling around .NET Aspire, there's no workload needed anymore. So you can just install the .NET Aspire SDK with the Visual Studio installer. Yeah, there's a lot more about how to install .NET Aspire setup and tooling documentation is here. Also, the Aspire templates are moved now to .NET to NuGet packages. So I will quickly show you a short code demo. So we have set in the dashboard a lot of improvements in Aspire. Like you can manage the resource lifecycle on the dashboard. There's mobile and responsive support. A little more sensitive properties, volumes, health checks, resource details, color for console log. Actually, I didn't see any changes here, so it was colorful before. Maybe it's now more colorful. There's improved telemetry filtering. Yeah, a lot more. So this is the waiting feature. The sample, you have a builder like before. You have a RabbitMQ, and this is your API, and your API is dependent on RabbitMQ, and therefore it needs to wait for that resource. Then resource health checks. Maybe a catalog API with the endpoint, and you can specify a health check endpoint. It can be used by maybe another application that checks the health of some resources, or it can be used by Aspire directly. Also here we have a wait for, so this main front-end application needs to wait for the API, otherwise it will maybe fail, therefore it's waiting for it. This is a sample about persistent containers, same with the RabbitMQ container. And here you can just specify a lifetime. So in that case, it's lifetime persistent. So the RabbitMQ will stay after you maybe stop Aspire and start again, it will stay the same. So let's quickly look here. I think I created a sample. We look inside. Aspire. This is just the sample application. When you create a new Aspire app, you can do it in Visual Studio or just like this. New Aspire starter. We have the Aspire starter, call it SPI start, or however you want to call it. There are a ton of new. It's just this now. Yeah. News. What I will show you in code is only the SPI start. So we have an SPI app host project, empty app, service defaults, the starter app here. Yeah, and I created this application using this one. So there's nothing new here, just going through. Regarding the props, there is actually also a template here to create this directory packages props. It's that one. Just say .NET new packages props, and you will get a ready-to-use directory packages props. So this is full of useful templates here. Okay, let's a quick look inside. So I really like Aspire. It helps a lot. So here we have this API service, just a simple minimal API service with one endpoint that just writes out weather forecast data, randomized data here. I think you know that from other template projects. And we have the web project that is consuming this weather data. So here we have the weather API client that it's connecting to the forecast. Maybe we have a cache, and maybe we have a secret server database somewhere inside, and you can just orchestrate it here in your app host. Also looks like a minimal API. It's a distributed application builder. As that, yeah, we have a caching here. We have a Redis cache. And we have our API service. We have our front end that has a reference to the cache, that has a reference to the API service. It waits for the cache as well as waiting for the API service. So we have the new wait for features here as well. So when we run this, we need to have Docker Desktop started because we will reference to a Docker container. What we can do is we can I think it was lifetime, right? With lifetime. Oh, need to check in the docs here. With lifetime, yeah, container lifetime persistent. So we can have a persistent cache here if you like to. So, and I think we were already, I am already talking for almost 45 minutes, so we'll get more details on Aspire. And maybe I have the chance to do a deep dive into Aspire, the Accra user group. So if there's need for, I'm happy to do this. Okay, let's continue on. So we have some new stuff on ASP.NET general. So we have a improved static asset delivery optimization. Maybe you already saw this map static asset. All every project has. You maybe want to change it to use static files. And no, the other way around. Sorry, remove that one and use map static asset. Sorry. This one improves how the static files get sent out to the client. So it improves caching headers. set up proper caching headers. It said here. It uses the caching middleware. It also serves compressed versions of assets when possible. Also, you can specify CDN and minimize the size of assets served to the browser. So it automatically compress asset like JavaScript, CSS, and so on. So this is cool. I won't go over Signal R. Just a little bit of Blazor. Just a little bit because yeah, it's Blazor. I'm not a huge fan of it. I'm now getting more and more a fan of it, actually. So I wasn't a fan about Blazor Server and Blazor WebAssembly. It's just my personal view. For some reasons, doesn't feel that good. But the new Blazor web app is really great. So it's a server rendered component-based version of Blazor. And this is about .NET MAUI Blazor hybrid. So you can host Blazor inside your MAUI application, which is quite cool. So you can have a web-based application in your mobile MAUI app. Yeah, cool. Then I think this relates to Blazor Server. The improved server-side reconnection experience. So Blazor Server needs Signal R, so it sends HTML snippets and states to Signal R from backend to frontend, which is a nice idea, but needs a steady internet connection, which is not possible in Germany. So I think in Germany you have the baddest internet connection in entire Europe, especially when it comes to using trains. So, and a Blazor Server app will be grayed out if you lose the internet connection, maybe losing its state when it reconnects. So you need to refresh and something like this, and this would help. Also, we now have support for constructor injection in Blazor components. Before that, we only had property injection. And new enhancements in navigation events. All right, so minimal API improvements. Yeah, we can now type internal server errors, or yeah, have internal server error and internal server error of T typed results, which is cool. Otherwise, I think there's not that much going on minimal API. Maybe it's almost finished. Who knows? I would have forgot about Blazor, but I think it's just an experiment. It was Steven Sanderson who presented it. It was really cool. It was about smart components in Blazor. So Blazor that are improved with AI features, like you can copy paste address text from somewhere, paste it in a text area, and AI automatically scans this address and put the values in the right fields. It was an example he showed. I think it is nice, and maybe will come into Blazor, or hopefully, or someone else will make a set of smart components that look promising. What's this? An Open API. Yeah, building support for Open API document generation. Just, yep, there. didn't check that already, actually. And also, because IoT was a big topic with .NET 8, it's still a topic with .NET 9. So it will get more and more support for open native IoT. That means that one is supporting native IoT and trimming. So it just removes stuff you don't need. Okay, what else? Authentication and authorization. Are there any questions here? I don't see any questions in the chat, so we just paste your questions if you have some. All right, so OpenID Connect handlet support for push authorization requests. So this is a new feature in not just supported now. I don't actually know more about it, unfortunately. Then we have OIDC auth parameter customization, which is nice. Before .9, for example, you had to use this code to add custom parameters. Like try to use this event connecting to the context or using the context to add protocol messages or parameters like this. But this is simplified in .9. You can just do it in the OpenID Connect method. And let's go to the additional authorization parameters if needed. Then some other new things which I think is important is the hybrid cache, which is currently in preview and will be released after .NET 9. Don't know exactly when. Maybe as a minor release of the .NET extensions. I'm not sure if there's something new about it or if it's current preview release. Not sure. So hybrid cache is like replacement for the distributed cache and the memory cache. So it combines it. And as they wrote here, it provides a simple API for adding new cache code. And which is also nice and always missed are the routing parameters in error messages, for example. So the developer exception page improved. So we now have, besides of the headers, cookies, queries, and so on, also routing information here. You see all the endpoint details, methods, also endpoint metadata or route values if there are some, which is super helpful when debugging. Also, debugging improvement is here when debugging maybe, or when you dig into lists. This is how a list looked before. So it's a dictionary where you see the indexer and a combination of the key and the value. It's not that readable, and the new improvements is to have the actual key in the first column. It looks better, it's more readable. And like every year, template improvements updated to the latest version, which makes sense. Hopefully this is also true for the React and Angular templates. These versions with quite fast. I think the React templates is always out of date. All right. Then we have some EF Core, small EF Core improvements. NoSQL improvements on Cosmos DB, and actually never worked with the Cosmos DB in EF Core yet. Maybe in a couple of months. Also here, AUT support and pre-compiled queries. It said it's experimental. Okay, not yet suited for production. Maybe needs to be so. Because if everyone gets AOT support and trimming support and support for code generation, pre-compilation things, EF Core should do the same as fast as possible. There are a ton of link to SQL translation optimizations. I think it's too much to mention it here. So they improve the way how link queries or link statements are translated into SQL, which also makes it faster. Migration improvements like protection against concurrent migration. So if two developers execute the migrations on the same database in parallel. Same thing here. One would be when multiple migration operations can't be run inside a transaction. Improve data seeding and so on. It was good before, and it's better now. Model building, auto-compiled models, MS build integration. It's also cool. Okay, so we have some C# 13 improvements. I'm really looking forward to C# 14 actually. Can you follow the repository, the language stream repository? It's so cool what's going on there. Maybe you should follow the language team GitHub repository, all the proposals there. And also there are some meetings streamed on YouTube where they're discussing features. So let's look at this. This is params collection, which improves the params syntax here. So before this, you were only able to adding or passing an array. Now you can also add collections here as params. You have a new lock object, the system threading lock type, and currently it's just lock object, the usual one. Now we have system threading lock. Implicit index access, which is nice. So this class, for example, that has an array inside, and you can just add the values of this array from index from the reverse direction, for example. So using this character. What else? Allow ref structure as generic type argument. Wasn't possible before. So more partial members. Now you can have partial properties and partial indexes, which maybe helps. This is maybe helpful. The field keyword, also still in preview. You need to enable it. You can enable it by setting the language in preview. Then you can use the field keyword. So that will be a reserved word. You can't use it as variable name anymore. And you can access the backing field using the field keyword. So it's just a replacement for the backing field. It is not declared here explicitly. All right, we have some small improvements on WPF. Yeah, I was looking at the chat. I don't see any questions, so maybe after that session you have some. Okay, let's go to WPF quickly. Now we have now support for Windows Fluent theme, which is nice. Theme support for Windows Light and Dark models. Also theme support for Windows accent colors. Yeah, maybe like this. Font render has been improved to support hyphen-based ligatures. Also here, binary format is no longer supported. This is mentioned in the WPF new things, so I did here as well. What's done on Windows Forms? Form and task dialog support show dialog async now. Okay, experiment. I didn't work with Windows Forms for a long time, so not sure if this is really important. Or maybe yes. Same here. Binary formatter is not longer supported for security reasons. We have experimental support for rendering the app in dark mode as supported by Windows. So we have this dark mode support, light mode support everywhere. Also folder browser dialog and tool strip. Some minor improvements. System drawing library. Many improvements. Wrapping GDI plus effect support for read-only span and so on. So this should make drawing a lot faster, I think. Better interop code generation. Okay, this is more background thing. All right. That's it. Also stumbled upon some Copilot things if you're interested in. So I use two Copilot a lot, so it's running in the background. It's for me, it's just intelligent on steroids. So it's helping me a lot writing codes. It's like the smart templates we had in the past with additional tooling for Visual Studio. And now, yeah, it does a really good job in improving or proposing solutions. But yeah, you need to keep in mind that it's just a proposal and you need to check the code that is generated with Copilot. So developers are still needed, even to do a pull request for the Copilots. But just kidding. It's really helpful. So what do we have here? AI smart variable inspection. Optimize your debugging workflow with integrated AI variable inspection. I haven't tried this. That sounds good. AI-powered enumerable visualizer. This I saw recently. Fixed code with GitHub Copilot. Not sure if I use it right. So I marked some code that doesn't look right and asked Copilot chat to fix it for me, and that worked. And as already mentioned, yeah, better AI completions for C#. And this is really helpful. All the proposals Copilot is doing are really, really helpful. And that was improved pretty much. And yeah, the completions are quite good. Also respecting the context of your file, variables that are already code that's already there is used to propose code completeness completions. Not only for C#, I also had this impression that it's also got improved with Angular code. the last year I did a lot of Angular. It's also improved there. Yeah, that's the same as before. I think debug tests with GitHub Copilot. About these debugging features here, visualizers. You can also, and this is cool, you just ask Copilot what's wrong here. It's super helpful. Yeah, it makes you write code a lot faster, or yeah, finish your task a lot faster. As I keep in mind, it's coming from somewhere. All the proposals, even if it looks at your code you already written, you need to check your code, check the stuff Copilot is proposing. Isaiah, I think you wanted to jump in. Saw your image popping up. So I was running fastly through this documentation. I would be happy if you have some questions. We can just go to Q&A. Hopefully I can answer your questions. Yeah, and I will share this document with Isaiah, and he will share it to you through all the community channels. That's pretty much it from my side. And yeah, asking Isaiah, do you have some questions from the audience?
So can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah. I think it's very interesting. I like the session where we're talking about .NET Aspa. We're using it with AWS, and I think it sounds good because most of Microsoft technology seems to work with Microsoft technology. So
Yeah.
if we have a tool, then which is very helpful in the .NET ecosystem, and then we can then also extend it for other services also. I mean, use it. I think it's good. We all love or we like .NET as far as it give you the overview on what is going on in your code. And I think, yeah, so I'm coming here. Let me rejump right now.
I was able to hear you well. Just your camera was maybe switched off. Way to Australia. Must be around midnight in Australia, right? Thanks for joining. I think Isaiah will 9 p.m. Okay. Isaiah will join in a second.
Yeah, so what I was saying is that we love .NET Aspa, and I think is kind of a nice tool that we have in the .NET ecosystem. And initially it was like we use it with Azure only. So if we are trying to extend this to AWS, and I think I mean it's a great stop. So I can build my .NET as Power application, and then later on that will show it also basically in AWS. So it's not always the case where I have to deploy this to Azure. So I think it's a great step, and It's a great improvement. And the one thing that I'm also expecting, you made mention of the collaboration between .NET and then React template. Where I think we have that one in the VS Code and Visual Studio, where
Yeah.
you choose Visual, the Angular and React template, and then you work
Hmm.
with that. So
Yeah.
if we then improve that, that is also great, because I think it comes with a lot of load. I mean, when you want to run it, it's heavy loaded. So that is
Hmm.
one section that you made mention that I was also much interested in the template section, because
Yeah.
as you mentioned, normally they will normally stay behind. So if we
Hmm.
have a template and then React environment that we can then work with easy. And I think we
Yeah.
have Brazers. You made mention of Brazers is also something that has been improved over the years. We have the Brazer server, auto mode, and then web assembly and all that. But if we have other two, coming into the .NET environment that we can work with, it's also so. Um, based on what you said, it means that now I can build a .NET application with .NET as well, and deploy that one to AWS, right?
Yeah.
Mm. So that
It
I'll be
is.
able to
I, I
see
think.
all the
I think
interface.
there's. I think there's support from the community to support
Mm.
AWS, or just some experiments. We can. Yeah. I can have a look at it,
Yeah,
and maybe it makes sense
yeah,
to present it to you. Yeah.
yeah. It's very nice that we have that, because I think we also have people working with .NET that they normally choose AWS maybe for some reasons. And
Yeah.
then if they have that kind of .NET Aspire coming up there or showing up there, I think it's also a great way of doing it like that. So that is also great. And then you made mention of the hybrid catch too, where we then saying that we are doing the catch in the hybrid mode, where
Yeah.
we then use the in-memory one. Then we when you have .NET Aspire, and then it also have catching that to also take parts of your catch. So it's be like you are sharing the catch with your in-memory one, and then the one that you have in the .NET Aspire. And then
Yeah.
it's also the integration with Azure functions.
Hmm.
So it means that we can do then also um, work with some kind of functions in .NET Aspire. So if I have .NET Aspire set up, I can
Yeah.
then go ahead and write some kind of Agile function in there for it to
Yeah.
also be. I can execute Agile function in that environment itself without going through, setting up and everything. So I think that one
Yeah.
is also a great improvement. So those of us watching us, if you think that there is also a session that would interest you, you can drop that one in the comment section. Let us know where you are coming you are watching us from. So we have someone watching us from Cameroon, and then we are saying that thank you for watching us. So someone watching us from Cameroon, and then I can see we have to also have someone who is watching us from Australia. So thank you guys for watching us. And then if you have a question, this is a QA session where you can drop your question, and then we all discuss. And this is kind of interactive mode where we are all discussing about the improvement that was made in other .NET environment. So that is it. I think it's kind of interesting where the cool pilot and everything is also going,
Hmm.
despite the fact that they have now add some kind of restriction. I think initially it was free, where you can then use it for free, and then people were
Yeah.
using it. Yeah, so now it has some kind of restriction where they have a free mode, and then they have paid version. So you can then go and then pay, and then I think it's fun. As you said,
Hmm.
it's make your life easier when you know what you are doing. And
Yeah.
but
Totally.
yeah, so it will to complete some of the stuff for you. And I think that Microsoft did well by integrating that one. It's worked well with the other tools too, Java, and then adapt things. You can use it React and that stuff, and it's worked well. And
Yeah.
so one thing that I think also we are expecting to have another tool added to .NET, like so now .NET Aspire, say let's say now you can run Breezer in there, and then you can
Hmm.
one thing, the basic form, we can see that if you have a lot of projects working, let's say we are working on microservice service project, and then we have a lot of services that we want to just run, because maybe one depend on each other. So the service need to run so that we get some requests or results from there. Aspire will take all of them and run it once for you. So you don't
Yeah.
need, I think Visual Studio, we used to have environment where you need to do some configuration to run
Mhm.
multiple projects.
Yeah.
And then that was very stressful. Sometimes the Visual Studio can then stop and all that. But we
Exactly.
want to
Yeah.
also see something like you can add something like React and
Hmm.
into your configuration. So let's say we are working on React, front end. Blazor is there, but maybe some reason you are using React or Angular or Vue, you'll be able to
Yeah.
also add that one to Aspire so that it also run and consume your
Hmm.
ASP.NET Core Web API easy
Yeah.
without going on then have separate project where you need to run the back end and you run the front end. So what if I don't know? I think recently I was working on a project where it has a .NET template. With React template.
Hmm.
When you run that, it's also automatically run, open a browser and open the React project in there. But
Yeah.
if they can also add that one to Aspire so that you choose whether you want to open it or not open. So I think it's as you said, it's your favorite topic, and in the .NET 9, I think it's also one of my favorite thing.
Yeah.
In .NET 9, I think they will keep on improving it. So in .NET 10, I think we are expecting to see more exciting stuff with .NET Aspire and what we can then do with it
I,
as .NET enthusiasts or .NET developers. So
yeah.
I
I
think it
think we.
is yeah.
Yeah, I think we will not see Angular React templates in Aspire-based templates. Maybe
Yeah.
not. They want to also to promote Blazor a lot. So
Yeah. Blazor is
it's
nice.
just about it's just about promoting, I think.
Yeah, yeah,
But it's absolutely possible to add React or Angular front ends.
yeah.
I'm
It's
not.
very
I
possible.
never tried it, but it should also be possible to run just
Yeah,
WPF Windows Forms in Aspire, which is
mm,
kind of weird, but yeah, should work.
yeah. It's really, as I say, we want more improvements in the .NET 10 coming in, and I think
Yeah,
they can
yeah.
add a lot of improvement in there for us to also enjoy using it, and it's good
Hmm.
that we have that. I think Blazor, I think the auto server mode or something like that came in .NET
Hmm.
8 and it was improved in .NET 9, and it's nice that you have Blazor and then you are writing your front end with C#. I
Yeah,
think Blazor is but one thing that I would say is that I think recently I wanted to work on something, and
yeah.
Microsoft has something they call Fluent. I think is it Fluent or Fluent UI or something like that, where
Hmm.
it's a UI component base for Blazor.
Yeah.
Um, it seems it's difficult to find. A certain UI component that you can use easy in Blazor, right? I think there is
Hmm.
a lot there in there, but when you check the other framework, like if I want to set up React project right now, it's easy to get all these things coming in. And
Yeah.
with the bootstrap at the point some kind of interactive session you need to okay. So I think Blazor still there is a lot of improvement that they are making. I think it's good. It's
Yeah.
very exciting.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's something that if you are watching us right now, you should try and then you work your way around, and it's very interesting thing to so
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, uh,
Yeah. I
it
really like the
seems
way how Blazor is
yeah.
going currently.
Mm,
If you like to follow new things on Aspire,
mm,
just to mention that you should follow James Newton King.
okay.
He's dropping a lot of information currently about the next version of
I think
Blazor, not Blazor, Aspire
Aspire.
portal.
Mm,
Especially, he's
mm,
improving it a lot.
mm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think David too is also doing a great job.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, they are working hard to improve it, and it's very nice that we use it, and it's easy to set it up. I think it work well. Those of us maybe you work with microservice project, you understand how helpful Aspire
Hmm.
is. If you want to test something in your local development environment, it's easy
Yeah.
to set it up. It's easy to add all this thing in there.
If
Adding
you,
services, database, and all that. Yeah.
yeah, if you have a proper environment, I messed up my machine with different .NET versions and preview versions and so on. And then in the past, the problem was that Aspire
Mm,
was coming with a workload, and the workload is
yeah.
only for a specific SDK version. And if you change version number, maybe your Aspire was gone. if you're changing to .NET 9 preview.
Mm-hmm.
Aspire was gone, and then I installed Aspire. Then I didn't find any Aspire templates and so on. That was a little bit kind of messy in the past. But now we have an .NET Aspire SDK, and it's
Yeah,
clearer now. So setting it up
yeah.
is much better now.
I think that is very great. So now it's a different project on NuGet. Okay, I think
Great.
someone is also adding
Yeah,
something.
.NET versions
Yeah.
are way better now than back during the exactly. Yeah,
Mm,
absolutely true.
mm.
It's a long time ago since the DNX days. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's always the improvement that they are working hard. The team is doing a great job, and
Yeah.
we are also seeing the adoption of this .NET coming in. So it's good. It's good that we have all these improvements in .NET, and it's quite interesting. I think we love it, and then we
Yeah.
say thanks to the team for putting up this great tool. And as I said, we want to see more improvement. So it's nice. We
Yeah.
have other external services coming in, like AWS coming in. Maybe we have the
Yeah.
Google CP also coming in. We have maybe other services coming in, so that it won't be like restriction to one environment. Like, if you are using Azure, that is where you can use Aspire. But if you are using even
Yeah.
AWS, you can still use Aspire. And then I think that will
Yeah.
will help us there. It will be a great thing. So
But
I think yeah.
sometimes during the development of the .NET from the DNX days to now, I had sometimes the feeling it goes back to the old .NET framework, but then it wasn't, luckily. So I was a huge fan of the old DNX just because it was super lightweight. It feels a little bit like Node.js environment where you
Okay.
have just a JSON file to configure your project.
Mm,
I'm not sure if you remember the days. And then Microsoft introduced the CS Approach XML to the
yeah.
new .NET, and then I had the feeling that, oh no, it goes back to this old environment, but it does not. It's a super lightweight CS Approach now. Can
Yeah.
be super small depending on only the dependencies you have. Um, it's quite cool. It's fun.
It's fun. Yeah. Yeah. And then
It's fun again. So I worked a lot
yeah.
with the .NET Framework until 3.5.
Mm,
And then we got .NET Core and DNX and the new .NET, and it's fun again. It's
yeah.
super
I think
cool.
someone is also saying that they had to move the CA because of the amount of the use MES builder, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
exactly. It was because of MS Bill. Yeah,
mm,
yeah,
okay. Yeah. So I think one thing that normally people do complain about this ecosystem is when Microsoft, will start a project or will bring in something, and then later on, they will drop it,
yeah,
which some people normally hate that. But it's good. So we hope to see that collaboration between Brisa and then .NET Maui. That hybrid mobile. I think
yeah,
it's easier to, when you learn Brisa, you can take that knowledge and then you get to Maui, and then you'll be able to build some kind of mobile app. I think that is a good approach.
yeah,
Yeah. So it's great. The collaboration is very nice. I think Marisu
uh,
is a great tool coming in.
yeah,
We want to see more improvement and how I think the SML something. Some people find it confusing. I myself,
mhm,
mostly working on that, and it's a lot of things that put in there. So
yeah,
if we get
totally,
some concisive environment, it will be nice. So yeah, I
absolutely.
think
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, it's a nice collaboration to have that one in there. Yeah.
yeah. Mm.
So we
Hello,
have
Kofi.
someone who's also watching from Ghana here. Okay, so I think that we
Great.
have our Ghana people now showing up. Yeah, that's great. Kofi, thank you for watching us. Yeah, I think people are watching. So those of us watching us, and then you have not dropped your comment, drop your comment, and let's all discuss about the new update. And what do you think is also a nice change, or it was a good change for you? And what are you expecting from .NET 10 or something like that? Yeah. So I think we all have our favorite section of the .NET 9. Some people are happy on a certain section, what's happening, and some people are also not happy on a certain change that was made. And I think it's all based on maybe what you work on. So if I work on mobile, maybe I'm happy on the change that was made with Mari. Having the Breezer coming in with
Hmm.
that collaboration to build a mobile app, which can also be a cross-platform mobile app. I think
Yeah.
that will be also very interesting. So I think it's the interesting time ahead, and the AI, and then co-pilots coming in, then
Hmm.
new model also coming in up every day, and we want to see more changes. I think there was one changes where you can also work. There was OpenAI .NET library or something like that, where it
Hmm.
helps you to work with an AI around the .NET just to install. And I think it was also one thing that it was a great change, and we hope to
Yeah, I
see.
didn't mention
Yeah,
it for some reason because I never tried it. Had a deeper look.
yeah.
They
I
did
think
a
it's
lot.
very,
Yeah,
yeah. They did a lot. They did
just
a lot.
searching it in my list, so maybe I have it somewhere noted.
Yeah. It was. I think it was great. Great improvement there. So
Yeah.
if I'm trying to set up an environment where I want to work with AI, and then maybe it's easy for me to get some kind of a tool that will help me easy to work with that. I think it's kind of interesting, right?
Yeah.
Without going then, I mean, searching, and then I want to have a kind of environment to set it up. So I think it's an interesting thing. One update that was also made in the environment that I really also like.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's nice. So we want more improvement. And .NET 9, we say that we can say that that is the best new version that we have right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
The performance is also good. As you mentioned, the performance has also increased
Performance
as you
gets
compare. Yeah,
better,
yeah,
better and better. Yeah,
better.
absolutely.
Yeah,
And really
yeah,
like it.
yeah,
It's so
yeah.
cool that
So,
they track their performance with these
mm,
standardized performance tracking
mm-hmm,
tools.
mm-hmm.
Um, that's really cool.
Yeah,
And they really focus on that.
yeah,
They think back
performance.
in the DNX days, they had this goal to be faster than Node.js, and they
Mm.
got it. So
Yeah,
that
I
was so
think
cool.
yeah, it's come with a lot of two. So with Node.js, I think it's lightweight in a way, because .NET has a lot of tools in there.
Yeah,
So it's gonna be like the performance when you compare that, because Node.js has some stuff in it.
yeah,
.NET has a lot of things embedded in it, so that you can use it to do multiple things. And that is it. That is one
it's
thing. So
like
the
this.
Node.js is just helping you to do one thing, and
But since
.NET
since it,
multiple. Yeah,
it's all packaged, you just need to have the runtime and the C# file. That's it.
yeah,
So you will have
yeah,
a small application then.
yeah,
Just drop all the packages you don't need.
yeah,
So that makes .NET lightweight as well. So that's
yeah,
quite cool. It's much better than before the new .NET. Huh?
yeah, yeah. It's definitely
Yeah.
is this version is better. So I think
So
something
they
people.
yeah they got it made making the ramp up time for beginners
Mm,
with C# and .NET much easier.
mm,
They improved it a lot,
yeah, yeah,
especially with
yeah.
the minimal API everywhere, so you can just run a
Mm,
simple C# file that looks like a script, huh? Without any class
yeah,
declaration and stuff. So it looks super
yeah.
simple.
Yeah, yeah. So that .NET 9 was super. Fantastic. I think
Yeah,
we love it, and we can't wait to have .NET 10, which is the long term support. Coming in, and I think it's going to be very interesting thing. Yeah.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah. So it's good. .NET
I'm really
where it
looking forward to .NET 10 and C#
mm,
14 actually. So
14.
there
Yeah. Mm,
will be some good new things in C# 14,
yeah.
like discriminated unions, first time in C# finally.
Mm-hmm.
this will come. This is discussed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really looking forward to it.
Yes. Yes. I think. I mean, we we can't wait to have all the two coming in to help us to make our life easier in the era of
Yeah,
AI coming in, a lot of AI, and then all these things. So I think it's
yeah.
very interesting. I mean, .NET 9 is something everybody loves it. So um,
From my
that's it.
perspective, working so long with .NET and C Sharp, I think
Mm,
every .NET version got better.
yes, it keep on getting better.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yes. It keep on getting better. So
yeah,
I think looking at the way things are going, .NET 10 might have a lot of AI capability in there, which will be improved because I think the AI market is now insane. The competition, what is happening, and all that.
yeah, yeah,
It would be nice for tools and then to also have a way to add it, and it will be easier to use it with .NET. I mean, 10 and 9 and all that. So I
yeah.
think it's great. It's great. I think we will have time to talk about how we can dive in deep into this .NET as well, and then I think people will love it. We have some few people watching, and I think uh, it's not everybody who want to drop a comment, but I think they understand it well and they also like it. That's why they are not asking a question, right? Yeah. So I think we appreciate you guys for watching us, and this video is recorded and it's going to be live on the Alternate Foundation YouTube channel. So you can just come back in the time, I mean, then watch, and you can also drop your comment, or maybe when you watch or something like that, you don't understand something, you can reach out to our guest speaker, then he'll be able to assist you on anything. And if you also want to join our user group, we have, I mean, it's available on Meetup. And then make sure to also join the .NET Foundation virtual user group, where you'll be able to get more insight on what is going on and how you can also take advantage of most of these things. So I think it's nice to have you here, sir. Thank you. Was a
Thank you.
very insightful and then wonderful section. I
Thank
really
you very
love it,
much.
and I think our watch. I mean, those of us watching us too also, they also love it and then they like it, and we have learned a lot, and now we know that how, I mean, the thing that we should focus on when it comes to .NET 9, and how we can leverage them and then use them for, I mean, our development, so that we can be more efficient, and then we keep on improve our products and our services and all that. So thank you, and then we hope maybe we see you again on another topic where we can dive deep in one session as you mentioned. So to
Looking
then,
forward.
and then
Yeah.
yeah, thank you guys for watching. And so at this point, we will see that we will see you guys in the next section coming month. Right. So bye to everyone,
Bye.
and
Thank you for having me.
yeah, thank you. Bye for
Thank
now.
you.
Bye. Yeah.